Oh, one time, Mr. Aaron, he used to have apple trees over in his field, and the boys, they would want the apples. Of course, he had a fence down the road, to keep us out. But they'd put me over the fence. I was little, and tell me to go get them an apple. And Mr. Aaron saw us, so here he come down that road a kiting it. He lived next door to us. And so they run and left me over the fence with the apples. Of course, he went right on to tell Mama, that I was over there stealing his apples. And I got in trouble, but the boys, they got off free. So that's one of my, times. And then a lot of times when Leader and Sylvester would come out there visiting Mama, I'd try to be ugly, and say bad things, and Mama would say, now if you don't behave when they leave, you're going to get it. So I'd try to be funny, and of course, sure enough, when they left, I'd get a spanking. And it didn't learn me a thing in the world, because when they come again, I'd do the same thing over. Back, if we had a pretty fish, I'd get back there in the kitchen, clean that old fish up, and cook him back there about 2 o'clock in the morning. Stew up some taters and get some tea, and he'd get on that radio and say, guess what she's a-doing? And she's back there cooking tripe, potatoes, tea. Of course, them other boys, they called us the Love Boat. Now, when I was growing up, I was telling the people that come help me on my highs about Daddy. He had some good words, like the pizer. They wouldn't know what in the world was that. I said, that's the porch.
I would say so, maybe 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But today, it's hard to tell where, when I was growing up, it was just strictly small town, town. We had, and out around the governor's mansion, that was all big.
Or what do you think has caused
The political area government. I don't know that NC State's had too much to do with it, but the political part, and of course the change, because the people live here, work there.
Right. And do you feel like it'll continue to grow, or do you think it'll kind of plateau?
It will continue to grow, definitely. 25 years ago, I'd say worse, but now I guess better.
Mm-hmm. And
that's it. I mean, I've just lived here all my life.
Mm-hmm.
Kaylee Bithell from Hazlet, New Jersey. Meal is one my grandma makes. Potato chip casserole, that's what it is. And it's got chicken and cream of mushroom. And it's like all mixed in this really good casserole. For one thing, we go to the shore. Well, actually, after this hurricane, there is no shore. But prior to this hurricane, we go down the shore. Okay? I don't go to the beach. I go to the shore. I don't go to the shore. I go down the shore. I eat Jimmy's on my ice cream. I don't have any of those sprinkles. They're non-existent. They're called Jimmy's. Those are the two biggest things for me that are different from anywhere else. Let's see. What else do we have? I go to the city, which, I mean, you guys have Raleigh or other place. No, the city is New York City. Oh, I'm a tourist. A lot of people, they got the oh my god going on, or the awe. That's really what it is. That frame, like, you don't use an O. It's really ugly. It's so like my mom wanted to name me Shauna, but up in Jersey they don't say Shauna, they say Shiona. My mom thinks it's so ugly.
Jersey.
When I go to Jersey, it just gets ugly. It just means that I'm like really excited and like anxious about, and I'm not focused on how I'm talking. I'm just like talking really fast and like, you know, usually yelling. It's usually involved with yelling. Someone's probably like doing something stupid. I'm like, oh my god, would you just stop?
Celebrate Christmas at Thanksgiving. It's like a family tradition, and I've seen it so many times we can quote it by heart, and it's just ridiculous, but it's so corny. It's such a good movie. And I'm sure I'll be going down to the Inner Harbor. We always make a trip down there. Maybe not for crabs, as they're out of season right now. But yeah, just spending time with family, have some fires in the fireplace. Another thing would be, well, accents, obviously, like everywhere geographically there's different accents, but in Baltimore you have the Baltimore Huns, and they have like a distinct, just different words that they say, and so that people from Baltimore say Baltimore like it's spelled with a D, but everyone else that's not from the area says Baltimore, and I don't think I've ever said Baltimore. Let's see, what else? We don't say y'all, we say you guys, which sounds really Yankee. Yeah. I say y'all. Like there are times like when I go home, I can feel myself going back into like speaking more like I used to, but when I come back down south, or if I'm talking to someone who has a really thick accent, like I hear myself bring it out more, and I don't even think about it, like it's just easier. I guess I'm just more lazy with the way I speak, instead of like lazy eyes instead of I or bye. I've noticed I say bye and ah because I used to say bye, and that just sounds bad. Like a joking sense, like my friends would pick on me for sounding like a Yankee, even though I refuse that. Like Maryland's like the Mid-Atlantic. It's not the North and it's not the South. We're the Mid-Atlantic. And then I've like found myself gradually picking it up, like because I was the only one who sounded different from everyone else, and so I slowly part of it was a conscious thing. Like I would say certain things different, like y'all was more of a conscious thing, because I didn't want to stick out, I guess. And so now when I go home, I get picked on because I sound like I'm from the country and from the South instead of from Maryland.
My name is Tom Chess. I currently live in Greenville, North Carolina. I'm from Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota, and I went to college. As soon as the ice fishing clears, as soon as you can drive out on the lake with your truck, it's pretty much migration. Everyone grabs their Suburban and drives out to the middle of the lake and sets up little towns in the middle, and you have your ice shack and you drill your hole and you get your TV in there and your case of beer and whatnot. And so when the summer's there, it's brats and burgers and hot dogs and beers. And brat, that's what you got all summer. A sausage-based wiener that is a little bit spicy. They might mix in some cheese. It's a little bit kind of snappier and crispier. It's a little bit bigger. Hot dogs, you all know what ballparks are. And cheese curds, there are two types of cheese curds. One type is basically just a cheese nugget. Take that nugget and then you deep fry it, and now you have a liquidous fried bit of cheese. Don't you know? Sitting after a softball game, and we're sitting on the tailgates, and I hear someone holler over my shoulder, "Hey, Tom, I'm a cook." No idea what he could have said. I'm like, what? Well, oatmeal cookie. I look over there and he's holding a little Debbie oatmeal cookie. Speaking to a girl from around here, and I happened to use the word poop. And I said it very northern. and she says, "That's not how you say it. You say it like poop." Don't you know you could save up to $20 there if you switch over to Suddenlink cable for up to 6 months? You can get 3 premium channels right there on your television set. I shook my head and hung up on him.